it's you versus you. Anything is possible. It's just you holding you back. And then I saw her start to tap dance, and I was like, something just hit me, you know? That was crazy, because that was when I really saw it. I was like, wow, this is the thing.
Really
like, it's
reach.
right there. I'm like a couple feet away from grabbing it, you know?
Cassidy from Buddhability here. If you're enjoying the show, don't forget to subscribe. It'll help the show out and you'll never miss an episode. If you want more Buddhability content, you can subscribe to our email newsletter in the link below. We put out great content every week. Enjoy the show. Welcome, Gabe, to Buddhability. Thank you so much for joining. So I always have guests introduce themselves kind of to open things up. So you can tell me about just like who you are and anything that you feel is like interesting, kind of represents who you are, your personality. So go ahead.
Cool. So my name is Gabe Morris. I am 18 years old. I've just recently graduated from high school. Early graduation, let's go.
Yes, we're recording this in April, so
okay,
pretty
yes.
early.
I'm a dancer. I've been dancing since I was 4 years old, mainly tap dance. That's my, passion. I love music, obviously. I love dance, obviously. I love to spend time with my family and friends. I love to grow community, and I love to have fun. So I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's perfect. I feel like I have a solid sense of who you are, what your life might look like. So obviously we're here to talk about Buddhism or talk about your life connected to Buddhism.
Yes.
So how were you first exposed to Buddhism? Like, what was your journey to kind of, starting?
So actually both of my parents have been practicing since I was like -20 and -30.
Before you were ever an idea.
Even the thought, exactly.
Yeah.
So I was born into the practice, so I've always been around it. Like, even when I was inside my mom's belly, she was chanting. So I've always had that rhythm within me. And then ever since I can remember, even just being just a tiny little kid, I've been at the meetings, doing activities, and chanting.
Wow.
Yeah, it's craziness.
Well, so like my mom started practicing Buddhism also before I was born, and I grew up around Buddhists, and like I really enjoyed going to meetings, but the idea of chanting was like, I don't really want to put forth that kind of effort. Were you a kid that like would chant with your parents when you were young?
Low key, yeah. Like,
really?
Yeah, I used to do Sancho at every single one of our meetings. Like, little 4 or 5 year old Gabe waddles up there and goes with the giant thing. Boom, boom. I don't know. I used to love it. I mean, obviously, I still do.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's so interesting. Did you have any like early experiences? Maybe like, I don't know. I think usually when people get to around like junior high school, you start to have some like challenges, whether it's school or with friends.
Definitely.
So did you have anything that like you really like tried chanting more and like could see some changes in your life?
I would probably say it was school, yeah. Like when I was in that junior high area in my life, dealing with focus. I think the main like biggest time when I was testing that out, as you were saying, was probably around COVID, because when that was originally starting, I was just going into 7th grade, well, ending 6th grade, going into 7th grade, and I was super unfocused, and I was trying to find that motivation. So I think that's probably the first like biggest, let's go, like let's chant. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make a change.
Wow. And so what did you like? What did chanting at the time give you? Did it help you feel more motivated?
It helped me feel more motivated. Low-key not with school though, more with just my like life and dancing. Since my mom and my dad had helped build like kind of a mini studio in our apartment at the time.
Wow.
Like we had a very nice floor that I was able to tap on and stuff. So I think that gave me more motivation for that kind of stuff. Not so much school, but but I'm just
okay.
Being honest. So.
I mean, it's like gaining motivation for something that you're really passionate about, I think is important.
Yeah,
especially in a
important.
time when like, so there are so many like crazy things happening in the world, to like not be so swayed by that and still be able to find like joy. And
Yeah, because I was so disconnected in that time. I was just playing video games and not focusing and paying attention. But finding that regrasping that motivation was helpful, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I know, like, I mean, it was so different for me because I was in like my mid to late 20s during the pandemic. And so I think about like, yeah, people that were in like school at the time, elementary, junior high, like that's such a formative time of your life. So
so many changes.
Yeah.
Especially in that like 7th grade area, you know, with growing up and puberty, all that kind of stuff.
Totally.
So it's very strange.
Wow. But it sounds like you were able to like still through your practice kind of maintain some like connection to yourself.
Definitely.
And growing up, did your friends know you were Buddhist, or was it something that you were kind of like keeping it down low?
Kind of a mix of both.
Yeah.
I feel like when I was younger, some knew and some didn't. I feel like now in my life, everybody that knows me really well knows that I'm a Buddhist now. But I feel like when I was younger, it's kind of like half and half.
Yeah. Did you grow up in New York City?
I actually grew up in California. I was born and raised in California, and then I moved to the city when I was 13 in 2021. Wow. Yeah. So right after that pandemic area. Yeah, it was a crazy time in my life. Lots of change, but definitely the right decision.
Wow. Yeah. And why did you guys move to New York?
Originally for my sister going to college. It was surprisingly, well, not surprisingly because of the pandemic, but it was cheaper for all three of us to move and get an apartment than her to dorm. So we were just like, New York City, the land of opportunities and community. Let's do it. And
that's wild. Oh my gosh.
It's the greatest choice of our life, in my opinion. Yeah, wow. There's nothing like the city.
Wow. And I mean, I imagine like the opportunities for you in terms of dance must be really great here.
Exponentially better.
Yeah. So of course we've tiptoed around you being a dancer. Yes. So I wanted to know how you started to dance and how do you feel when you dance? When
I was really little, probably about 1 or 2 years old, my sister, well, that's not when I started. I started when I was 4. Okay. But I see my sister take her very first tap class ever. And I saw her like put on the shoes and stuff. And then I saw her start to tap dance, and I was like, something just hit me, you know? I was like, wow, like you're making music and dancing at the same time in one art form. And that was so crazy to me because those are like the two things I love to do. And like a week or two after that, my mom put me in tap.
Wow.
And I've been dancing ever since, 14 years later.
Wow.
Still tap dancing to this day. Yeah.
And how do you feel when you dance?
I feel amazing. I feel free. You know, I feel at peace. I feel calm. I mean, obviously, sometimes performance-wise, you can get stressed out, but all the stress and all the nerves come beforehand. Once I'm on the stage, once I'm in that mode, I feel free. Really, that's probably the best way to explain it. I'm free. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't know how many people can say like, you know, that they have something that they love doing that makes them feel free.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
It's very important. It helps me a lot.
Yeah, that sense of like feeling free. I'm wondering, do you feel that with chanting, or is there some connection between how you feel when you dance and how you feel when you chant?
I definitely think there is, especially when I'm chanting in a group setting, in a community setting. I don't know, there's just something about that that group togetherness, that group rhythmic feel that makes me feel so free, and helps me think past the obstacles in my mind, and in my life, you know. So I definitely think there is a connection, and especially with tap dancing, because it's, you know, so rhythmic. It's all based on rhythms, and I feel that rhythmic connection within chanting as well, because chanting helps me get in the rhythm with the universe, in a sense, you know, puts me on the right path, on the right track. And I feel tap dancing does the same thing for me. So I feel like that connection is definitely there as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's the way that you feel that's really in alignment, and also the literal rhythm and music of chanting and of tap. That's really incredible.
Yeah, and how that aligns you in your life.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Wow. Do you notice there's a difference when you dance, and maybe you haven't chanted all that much, or you're really in the depths of something, versus when you feel really joy?
Yes, I would say it's yes for both things, for dancing and for chanting. Because even if I don't do one and then I do the other, whenever I do it, it makes me feel so much better. Whether I don't chant and then I go dance, or I don't dance and then I go chant, or I just do both. Whenever I just do either, my life condition just rises so much, and I just feel so much better, and I'm so much more ready to go conquer whatever obstacles are in my life, you know? Seriously, I just feel so much better. I feel so much happier.
Yeah. I always feel like when I chant, I'm nourishing my life, or I'm giving myself a hug.
Exactly.
So a lot of your story today will be sort of your senior year, I guess, leading into this summer and now into college. So maybe to start, can you set up for me, did you have any kind of clear goals or dreams of where you wanted your career to go? Did you want to go to college?
It was honestly still kind of all up in the air.
Yeah.
Because I like to take things not by the moment in a sense, but with that sentiment, you know?
Yeah.
So junior year, well, really it was sophomore year when I kind of flipped my focus of how I wanted to do things, because I was not very focused in sophomore year and not the best in freshman year either. And then I kind of flipped that around and I'm like, what am I doing? Let's go. I need to be happy and be motivated and live my life. So that really carried over into junior year. And I was super locked in and stuff. If a scholarship was to come and I was to go to college, then I would take that opportunity with full force and with the right mindset and do it. And if I was to get some crazy job or go to Broadway or something, then I would let that happen as well. Full mindset, yeah.
Really open to the possibilities.
Exactly.
Yeah. I totally get that. And so then I know in summer, now almost a year ago, it's kind of when your experience started.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Okay, so last year, last June. Here, wait. First, I'll start.
Yeah, you can give further back context.
Last January, February. So I have some really close friends. I consider them my brothers. I love them. Full support for everything. They're my brothers. But I noticed a few of them, kind of getting to the point of slacking off where it was very unhealthy for them, and I want the best for them, obviously. So I was helping them, calling them in the morning, trying to get them waking up for school.
Wow.
Just supporting them as much as I can, even with the little things like that, so they can see that benefit in their life. And that was being pretty helpful for a while. And then I was trying to get them to come to some district meetings in January, February, and March. And they're pretty flaky towards the beginning in January and February. But then in March, I actually got 4 of my closest brother friends to come to the meeting. And it was an amazing experience. Everybody at the meeting had a wonderful time. The energy, the life condition was so high. And it was great discussion and great study. It was just a wonderful meeting, honestly. And that kind of helped me realize myself more, in a sense, because I was able to realize the impact that I can have on others when I really put that full force into them succeeding and them benefiting and them creating value. That feeling of lifting up others around you, there's nothing like it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that I was trying to keep that mindset, throughout the whole of last year and this year as well.
Yeah. It changes everything.
It really does.
I mean, I'm somebody who oftentimes can pity myself when I'm struggling with something. And I think like, wow, everything is so hard. Nobody understands, and like so wrapped up in myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even though that might be true that I'm going through something difficult, when I can get together with a friend and I'm thinking about them, like, what are they struggling with? How can I be there to support them as much as they support me? Like, it totally like shifts my perspective on my own challenges, but also like it just feels good to like, be there to support other people, even if in the moment it's just like being able to connect on some, like, okay, we're both here for each other, even if it doesn't change the externals right away. At least we have that, like, seeing
that
those small
support really
things
does change the situation.
Yeah,
Completely agree. Yeah, because sometimes when you're dealing with your own struggles, you get so stuck, and it's so hard to get out of that hole. But when you have other people there that that they care for you, and that they want the best for you, it really does make the biggest difference.
Yeah. So having that kind of like maybe shifting awareness of just the power of your life to be able to encourage others, did that like impact how you think about dance? Or I mean, because I imagine like you're not just performing for yourself, you're performing for other people. So did it, that like shifting awareness of yourself, did it relate to dance at all?
Definitely. It didn't fully change my mindset upon it, but it definitely impacted it and just fully like backed it up more, because like dance, that's what dance is. It's about having fun, and it's about spreading that love, spreading that joy through my passion, and how that it's so visible that it's so contagious, and other people can take it away. So it definitely impacted that by like just backing up that mindset that I already had. And that was super helpful and super powerful. In the dance world especially, just like even in just a class, just training or something, I try to have the mindset of just having fun every time. And I feel like even just in the classroom, that's so contagious and can help other people too, because there are a lot of times in dance where people can get stressed out, and some people can even be judgmental of other people. But as long as I try my absolute hardest to keep that fun, community-based aspect, there's always that kind of safe place for people if they are feeling stressed out or being judged or anything like that.
Yeah, there's a concept in Buddhism that like the oneness of yourself and your environment, right?
Yes.
So you have so much power over your environment through like having power over yourself, so to your point, like if I have a really difficult like friend group, work situation, whatever, I can really chant to like bring out my like highest condition life state, and be really like bright and be the person that can create like joy in those spaces.
That's what probably one of, if not the most key factors for me within Buddhism is that idea when you chant like the Gohanzon, which is the scroll, the mandala that we chant to, like that idea of it kind of being like a mirror, and it like all that energy that you're pushing out for a change in your life goes back into you, and that always ties back into the mindset of it's like it's you versus you. Anything is possible. You can do whatever you want and however you want to do it. It's just you holding you back, and that is so powerful to me because it's so true. Like, it really is. It's so true.
I know. And, sometimes I can get so like, this person is the problem or this institution is the problem, whatever. And then I talk with a Buddhist friend and they're like, well, actually, really the roadblock here is you. And I'm like,
and it's so hard to realize that sometimes. It really is. Really is. But that's the difference maker, really.
Yeah. And it, like, through chanting, I think, like, it can go from something that's like, oh, God, me again, to, like, empowering. Like, oh, actually, I have the power to change this.
Definitely. And once it gives you that motivation.
Myself. Yeah, totally. 100%. Totally. So then, like, going into this year,
yes.
like, in terms of your dance world, and you're also in school and having sort of open-ended what can happen afterward, like, yeah, how did you enter your senior year?
Really, it was this mindset of just being my true, authentic self, which is so important. Because in the end of junior year, around like May or June, I was nominated for this scholarship, the scholarship foundation called Posse, where they have many different Posse foundations in different cities around the country. But for Posse New York, they have 10 different schools, 10 scholarships for each school, so 100 scholarships, and each year they get like 4,000 or 5,000 nominations. And I was lucky enough to be nominated by one of my teachers. Whoa. And I was like, that's incredible. Like, that's awesome. I'm so happy I'm nominated. But at the same time, like 4,000 or 5,000 people, that's a lot of people. So I kind of like, we'll see what happens with that. Because the first interview was like a few months after I got nominated and stuff.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Did you feel like, upon receiving the nomination, sounds like maybe a little bit of like fear.
Yeah, I was like, ooh.
I don't know if I could do this. Like, did you have to chant about it to like feel confident or feel clear, like, yeah, I really want to go for this?
I would say yes, definitely. Closer to when the first interview was.
Yeah.
Because there was a first interview, I think it was in August.
Okay.
And it was like this super big group interview with like 100 other students.
No way.
Yeah, it was like a very big thing with lots of different activities set up, like team building activities and like talking about stuff. And then you had to like write an essay as well. It was a whole thing. But definitely before that, I spent a lot of time chanting so I could be clear about what I wanted, and also about just who I am, so that can be portrayed in the interview, because that's all they want to know. They want to know who you are as a person and how you work, you know, how you do things. So I think that was the main thing that I was chanting for, and that was the main mindset that I tried to have all year, really.
Yeah. That's hard at like 17, 18, like... I mean, personally, I went through so much like identity crisis kind of stuff of like, I don't know who I am. Like, I'm just still figuring it out. So to have that like confidence and just desire to be like, okay, I just have to really like show who I am. Yeah. As you chanted, did you feel like, yeah, okay, like the first interview, for example, did you feel like, okay, I showed who I am. Like, I feel good.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like the first interview went amazing.
Yeah.
Like, since there were so many people there, in the beginning, they gave us some time to just mingle, you know, and talk to people. And I feel like that was a great way to get it started. It's just so great to meet so many new people and make so many connections. And I feel like that really boosted my life condition with that community aspect for the next couple activities. And I was just like, all right, I'm going to do this thing, and if it goes good, it goes good, and if it doesn't, it doesn't, and that's okay. Yeah. You know?
I've like talked to a lot of different people about like, you know, job interviews or college applications, whatever. Anything where you're kind of like, you're being assessed, like to be chosen on something. When they chant about just being able to like be themselves, then like there's, regardless of the outcome, I don't know, it's like, well, I totally showed who I am and I feel confident of that. And if I wasn't selected, it just means that actually I wasn't the right fit for this.
And that's the mindset you have to have, because like, I think that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And I think that if that door never opens and it stays closed, that's okay. There's one 5 feet that way that you open it and there's more rainbows and more sunshine on the other side. Maybe a pot of gold too. So like...
You won't know till you open that door.
Exactly. And you have to live in that 5 feet of space. Like, if that door never opens, you have to live in that 5 feet of space and kind of accept that and be like, okay, I'm going to wait for this door. And then when that door opens, you'll be like, wow, look at that.
Yeah, I knew this was the one. I'm glad I
Exactly.
waited.
Word.
Wow. So after the first interview, did you hear back right away?
I'm pretty sure it was a couple of weeks to a month. So I was a little like
stressful.
But I had that same mindset. Like I was me. I was who I wanted them to see. I was who I wanted me to see.
Yeah.
And if that is not what they wanted for a second interview, then that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily, it was what they wanted for a second interview.
Yay.
So a couple months later, I had my second interview, and it was a lot more one-on-one, just questions about who you are,
Wow.
and questions about like which colleges, which universities on their partnered schools you're most interested in, and just a lot more focus on you and like your background and all that kind of stuff.
For somebody who like maybe hasn't chanted before, if you could describe what it's like just to chant about like I want to be able to show up as my authentic self.
I feel like there's a mental roadblock within all of us, really, when it comes to anything. But especially when you're trying to find that true authentic self. And chanting definitely helped with that, because it helps kind of clear that mental roadblock. You definitely have to do that clearing yourself.
Yeah.
You definitely do. But it does kind of like makes it more squishy. So then maybe you can just like, duh, instead of having to like,
yeah, totally.
Definitely.
And I mean, even sometimes like when you said like clearing it, sometimes it can feel like, yeah, this totally immovable object and like you can't even see to the other side.
Nope.
You're not sure. But then as you chant, yeah, like it's almost like it becomes clouds or like fog, and you're like, okay, now I just have to like blow it out of the way.
Exactly.
And I can get to the other
Get through
side.
this little maze instead of getting through this brick wall.
Yeah, totally. So then, second interview, how were you feeling after that?
The second interview also really
Feeling
went
good?
great.
Yeah.
Because the coordinator that I was being interviewed by, I had met her and like talked with her pretty in depth at the first one when it was a lot of people actually. So I was kind of already acquainted. We were already acquainted. She knew me and she knew who I was and my drive and what I wanted and stuff. She also knew like I was a dancer and stuff, because we had a pretty nice conversation.
Yeah.
So when I walked in and saw her, I was like, yes, thank you. Like now I can definitely relax a little bit more. But yeah, the second interview went really great, you know.
So then after the second interview, like I know originally you were like kind of whatever path happens, but like as you're getting closer to the possibility of like getting this, you know, scholarship, did you start to feel more like driven that you want it?
Yeah. I would say I was, because I was like, wow, like this is really a possibility. This could really happen. You know, I kind of saw that reality. There was kind of that like, oh, I could really do this. And then, but I also had to kind of ground myself and be like, okay, I could do this, but what are my next steps to making that happen for myself? So that was really the battle after the second one, because I was really like, yeah, that's pretty nice, you know.
So then how many like rounds of interviews were there?
So it was the very big group first one, and then the one-on-one kind of personal one, and then if you get selected as a finalist, there's the finalist interview for the specific school that they partner with you in December. And I was announced as a finalist, one of 20 finalists, in late November, mid-November.
Oh my
and
gosh.
that was crazy, because that was when I really saw it. I was like, wow, this is the thing.
Really
like
within
it's
reach.
right there. I'm like a couple feet away from grabbing it, you know?
Okay. And so, yeah, you figure out, you learn you're a finalist, and then are there any more kind of interviews or steps to
Yes,
decide?
there was the final interview, which was placed 2 days before my birthday. So I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And then the craziest part about the whole thing is a few days after I got chosen to be a finalist, selected as a finalist, I was also selected as a winner for Young Arts, which is this crazy nationwide competition for young artists in all different artistic mediums like dance, music, painting, drawing, that kind of stuff, singing. And that was crazy, because I've applied for it a few years in the past, but I haven't won. But this past year I was chosen as a winner. And I was like, no way, both these things just happened in 1 week. Like, what?
Wow.
It's crazy. Yeah.
So then you get the win before the interview, right?
Mhm.
So you're kind of like riding the high
Yeah,
of that.
definitely. Because young arts it's low key a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Like so many people do it every year.
Yeah.
And it's such a great program because it's like a nationwide network of artists, like the best artists in their fields from the past like 40 years or so, and you also are you're available to get grants to help grow your art and keep it alive and further push it forward. So I was insanely happy. I was like, wow. It's craziness.
Wow. So like, yeah, you're riding the high going into this final interview. Like, what would you say your preparation was like in terms of like Buddhist practice? Like, I imagine chanting. Were you like
every day
studying anything? Were you attending meetings or?
Yes, every meeting I can attend with my dance schedule.
Yeah.
But mostly just a lot of chanting with my mom. Because I don't know, we like to chant together a lot.
Yeah.
And that time is very healing and very clearing for me.
Yeah.
So I think that was probably the most preparation.
Wow.
Was spent with mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. When I was
Definitely.
applying for colleges, like it was chanting with my mom, and I'm like, okay, I can do this. Thanks, Mom. She's gonna be very happy when she hears this interview to know. But was there anything like any maybe like Buddhist concepts that you were thinking about that like helped you really feel like, I don't know, you got your armor or you're like equipped to go into the interview?
Yes, it's like kind of unrelated but like really related. I feel like it would be the idea of poison into medicine, which is something I try to carry with myself, like in anything I do. But the high school that I'm now done, but the high school I attend, it's not the best high school, to be fully honest, with some things that happen, maybe some violence here or there. So I think that idea of poison into medicine was very influential for that, because in that high school, there were obviously some crazy things happening, but I was just trying to be focused on my own life and my own self and turning that possibly bad, negative situation into something positive that I could benefit from. And I did a pretty good job of that,
I would say
but,
so.
Yeah, that's probably one of the main ones.
Yeah. Well, and like, I think for anybody who, goes to a school where they feel like, oh, maybe I'm not like set up for success like these other people that can go, have whatever background, to be able to show through your life that like actually that doesn't really determine anything. Like I can really create
mindset.
Exactly, I can create my own kind of life. So, without further ado, you go into the last interview 2 days before your birthday.
2 days before my birthday, Wednesday, December 3rd, another date. I was just, I was happy. I was ready. I was excited. I was really excited, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I still had that mindset of like, if this happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. And I was excited to meet the other finalists. I was excited because this year they had, for the first time ever, surprisingly, they had some very important people at the school come in and be there for the final interview. So that was very exciting to meet them and stuff. But yeah, the interview really went great. Like, walked in, great attitude, great mindset. Said what's up to people, introduced myself, got acquainted. They had some current freshmen that are on in last year's posse there, so it was great to talk to them and talk about the school and talk about this, talk about that, ask questions. And then the actual interview started, and it went great. It was kind of heavy ideas and heavy things that you're talking about in a sense, but every answer, I was just like, I'm just going to let it roll off the tongue. I'm going to let it come straight from the heart, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's what they want to hear, then that's
Yeah.
great. And if it's not, then it's okay. So yeah, it really it went great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So then after the fact, you felt like, okay,
I
I did it,
yeah.
victorious. Yeah.
And then interview ended. And then later that night after the interview, I actually had dance. So I was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
So I went to dance. Dance was great because I was in a good mindset. You know, I was in a good place. And then they told me after the interview ended that I'll hear back in 48 to 72 hours. So 2 to 3 days. And I was like, okay. So maybe I'll hear on my birthday, you know, because it was 2 days.
Yeah.
I was like very excited about that. And then after dance, I get home at like 9:30 or something because it was a late night Wednesday. I get home and literally I'm home for 5 minutes. I'm telling my mom about everything. I'm like,
day,
yo,
yeah.
this happened, that happened, like this happened. And she was very happy. And then I get a text and I'm like, oh, hello. And it's from the 2 posse coordinators. And they're like, hey, we want you to hop on a Zoom. Can you do that in like 5 minutes or so? And I'm like, yes, please. So I hop on the Zoom and I'm saying hi to all the people and stuff. And then they asked me one question. And that one question was, how do you think today's interview went? Just straight up, how do you think it went? And I answered with the same fully honest answer that I'd been giving the entire year, which was great. I think that I was my truly authentic self. And I answered how I want to answer and how I want to be seen, you know? And they were like, wonderful. Well, we're so excited to have you for the next 4 years at Lawrence University. And I was like, actually just like in shock because I was like, whoa, y'all supposed to tell me 2 days from now, not right now. And I was,
wow, that was a quick
crazy.
decision.
Yeah, it was like boom, bang, bop. And I was like, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So yeah, it was crazy.
How did you feel?
I felt amazing because I was like, wow, I'm going to college. Like I'm going to a nice liberal arts university. Like this is happening. Like this is my life now. It definitely took a minute to hit.
Congratulations.
It was crazy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Well, it's also like, you know, I was just thinking how we were talking about COVID when you were in 7th grade and even like freshman and sophomore year, how like you were having a hard time, like really powering through in school, you know, like you were doing it, but it's not like you were, you know, from a young age, like star academic, whatever student, right? Like, but then to be able to have this incredible like admission to school, and is it like scholarship for the whole?
Yeah, all 4 years. So
fully funded.
I got that email on my birthday.
Wow.
It was like a $250,000 birthday present pretty much, and that was insane.
Wow. I mean, I think like that to me is so inspiring that like, you know, I think a lot of young people, especially high school, when you start thinking about college, everything can feel so like prescriptive, right? Like, okay, I went to this school, or I did AP, or I didn't, or my GPA is this. But there's like limitless possibilities out in the world. But the thing is, like, we really have to open ourselves up to them and seeing like, you know, what's possible. And so I think like hearing your story is just so incredibly encouraging that you can find like this perfect path for you, you know, through just like, okay, I'm just gonna be myself. Yeah, like that is, it's hard to have that confidence, you know?
It is pretty hard. But I think I do.
Yeah,
I think I'm a pretty confident person.
Yeah,
I try to be.
Yeah,
it's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then not only did you get this scholarship, you also finished high school early.
Yeah, like
how did you do that?
A month or two after that.
Oh my gosh.
Because I had took extra classes my junior year. Like took I think it's called College Now, where you can do college courses outside of school hours, like with CUNY schools in the area. So you can get the college credit and the high school credit. And like an AP class and all that. It's a great program and it's free too. Wow. So I took a few of those, so I was able to get extra credits, and I had also got my credits from the first years. So when senior year came around, I was like, wow, I only need to take boom, 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 and boom, and I'm done with my credits.
Wow.
And in my junior year, I had also finished all of my PBAs and my regents. The regents are the tests that most kids take. And then my school does PBAs, which is you just like make a big project and like write like a 10-page essay about it and stuff. Yeah, I actually liked it a lot because I like talking to people and I like presenting things. So yeah, I got all of those done in my junior year. And then I had finished all my tests and regents and stuff and all my credits. So I was like, I only take these classes and then I could be done. And then, yeah, so I had a meeting with my principal and she was like, well, we could keep you in school and have you enrolled in these classes, or I could just graduate you. And I was like, well, I think you should do that one. So she like goes on like this website, like looks like she's coding something. Couple minutes later, bing, bang, bop. And I'm done. It was craziness.
Gosh. Yeah. Wow. So since then, like, what has your focus been on and what life is looking now in terms of dance, and also just like what you're looking forward to once you start school?
Definitely lots of dancing, lots of training. I've had a lot more free time, obviously, since I'm not in school. It's given me even more time to think about that idea of finding me and finding what I want to put my time towards and like what I really care and what I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
So that's been really helpful. I mean, I've also had a lot of goofing off time and a lot of doing nothing time, which can be nice.
You deserve that. You've worked hard.
But it feels sometimes when I want to keep going, but then I'm like just doing nothing. So,
that's the current challenge.
Yeah.
I think many of us
Definitely
face that. Fortunately, chanting, just like you were talking about back in 7th grade, right? Chanting can give you sort of the spice that you need to like maintain the
Mento and the Coke, low-key.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, wow. And so do you have like, I know you're somebody that's kind of like, let's see what happens, but do you have any kind of like big dreams for your life or dance or anything?
Yeah, I want to perform. I want to be on stage. I want to, like, as we were talking about towards the beginning, I want to share my passion and have that translate into other people's lives and have them like see my joy and feel how contagious that is and inspire other people to feel that same passion in whatever they love to do. You know what I mean? I just love to like give that to people, to give that joy to people. It's there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
So that's really that's what I want to do.
I'm excited that after this, the audience will have an opportunity to see a little bit of your dancing and your joy. But before we do that, I always like wrap up with kind of a piece of advice kind of question. So I think I want to know from you, like, somebody listening that maybe they're like junior or senior year and they're thinking about like, oh my God, what is my future going to be?
Yeah.
What advice would you give them for like how to tackle that feeling of like, what am I going to do? It's a big question. Sorry.
Yeah, it is. But no, it's a very important question. I feel like to help tackle that, really just do everything. Like it's very easy to get stuck in that space where you're like, wow, that's a lot that I have to do. And like, I need to do it. And like, it's coming very soon. But it's really easy to get stuck in that. So I feel like if you're able to take a step back for a little bit, and for me, chanting helps with that, taking a step back and kind of embodying it all, and then really just do as much as you can and put as much effort into everything, even the little things. And while being yourself, that'll really set you up for the next chapter in your life, honestly. If you're just yourself, and you put that effort and you put that joy and that passion into everything, the doors will open for you, you know?
All right, we have a special treat. We've exited the studio, and now we're going to have Gabe perform for us.